Hello my friends, I told you about the first ecstatic or intensive relaxation effect of the Extasium. But there are others and we should rather talk about phenomena. After a session to animate the painting, people spontaneously began to sing songs that resemble nothing earthly. In the beginning, it was more like weird sounds than songs that I didn't participate in. But as I continued to experiment, these songs became more and more modulated to become real songs that finally became part of. Gradually, a process has been set up. In the beginning, the songs came after or even during the contemplation of the painting animated by different music. Then we preferred to contemplate it illuminated in various ways in color for a moment without animation and in silence. It was perfect at every session, but you couldn't remember anything afterwards. That's what led me to treat the acoustic of the room to be able to capture this song as faithfully as possible. So strange are they, and so similar to what is described in the book of Revelation. The challenge was particularly difficult because the room has harmful proportions in terms of acoustics. The singers did not stand in front of the microphones, but moved sometimes several meters away. In addition, the room had to be transformed into an auditorium to listen to the recorded music, which is never done because the difficulties are so great. I still managed to succeed, but only after 37 years of research and the 93rd versions of these acoustic sculptures, so difficult to achieve but bringing extraordinary joys. It was never determined who could sing. All you have to do was want to. But it wasn't enough. You had to persevere. Over time, about 30 people from all walks of life participated in what became the DreamMaker group. Then, as they came from all over the world, they returned home and finally I found myself alone to continue. Analyzing the phenomenon, one has the impression that the image of the painting, which I remind you, represents the beginning of the book of Revelations, according to my interpretation, resulting from my experiences, coupled with the very particular acoustics of the room, established a mental connection with another internet in another dimension, and that someone is using us as instruments. I never know what I'm going to sing. I feel like I'm splitting up. One part sings and the other one thinks about something else. Each time, it is always perfect and it gives me great happiness, a feeling of love. You can see me singing by going to Facebook in my group Alain Gabriel Club Extasium or by visiting my website extasium.fr. Speaking of love, I'm going to tell you about my first great love. After passing the BEPC with success at the end of the third grade, I no longer wanted to continue my studies. My father then proposed me to enter the SNECMA vocational school. He knew it well because he had worked for a long time in this aviation factory that manufactures jet engines and knew the seriousness of it. He and an associate had managed to set up a small precision sharpening business, and it was thought that I would be able to assist him after the school. However, destiny intervened. There was no longer a place in the professions as a smiler or turner that corresponded to this activity. Only in boiler making, which is said to train the artists of the industry, rather than making pieces with very precise measurements, I learned to exercise and develop my intuition, basis of all artistic creation. After high school, 20 minutes walk from my home and not too busy, the change was brutal. The journey was much longer. 10 minutes on foot to the metro, then a long journey with a change at Chatley, and another 10 minutes to the factory gates where uniformed guards demanded our identity cards even if they recognized us. It no longer exists. And in its place were built housing for the gendarmes on Boulevard Kellerman in front of the Charity Stadium. I still had to walk in the factory. Then it was necessary to climb 7 floors on foot in a noisy metal staircase and arrive at the top breathless. It was necessary to put on a cart in blue. 1 second late and it was red. Several red, and we had to come back in detention on Saturday morning. We spent 9 hours a day in school, 45 hours a week. The first contact with the workshop was very noisy, with about 30 boys banging with various hammers on scrap metal. We had to wear wax-cased balls in our ears to make it bearable. We had unusual courses in an apprenticeship school because we were in a factory that dreamed of flying. Technology, aviation history, meteorology, aerodynamics, surface treatment, sheet metal layout. The last 3 were very useful to me much later for my research on sound. I learned to work with my hands, which was a serious preparation for what I was about to undertake. In holidays, I went to youth camp organized by the SNECMA Works Council in La Ciotat, another premonitory sign, because it is there that was shot the first film of the Lumiere brothers with the arrival of the train in the station. This was an obvious connection with what I am currently doing. And another sign or coincidence. I live very close to the place where Daguerre's diorama, the ancestor of cinema, was set up, Place de la République in Paris. We slept in tents of 10. I was discovering the Mediterranean, which I was still in love with. One day at the beach, I had walked away from the group and I saw 3 girls playing table soccer. The prettiest one, a brunette, asked me if I wanted to be the 4th. That's when we fell in love. Love at first sight again. To see each other. I had to run away from the group I should have stayed with, and we would go apart to kiss each other endlessly. One day, she asked me if I loved her. It was the first time it happened to me, and I answered yes. Back in Paris, we correspond almost every day. I was on the lookout for the later career. My mother was amused to observe the first love of her great son. I was looking forward to the return from the vacation to find her again. What will become of this great love? I will tell you of the next episode.